Hello. In this video we're going to go over how to work through the first week's discussion forum. You should be able to see on your screen we're already in the forum for the first week, and it's called Put Some Math in Blackboard. Every week for at least the first half of the semester I'll have an example thread in the discussion forum so you can get an idea of what I'm looking for. And this video is really going to be more about the technical aspects of how do I actually type in the math, those types of things, rather than showing you what I am looking for. So to get started, let's go ahead and just create a new thread by clicking there and giving it a name. Let's call it Rob's expression. And then once it's got a name, we can go worry about giving it some content. I recommend generally putting at least a few words in there before you start typing the math, just to let people know what your math is about. So we could say something like, I found this expression interesting. And now we want to add some math in there. And anytime in Blackboard, not just discussion boards, when you've got all of these tools available for adding some text in somewhere, if you want to put math in it, the place to look is for this button with the funny F, and it should say, once your mouse is hovering over it, Launch Math Editor. So we can click on that, and it will open this new editor window. Now again, this window can look kind of intimidating when you first open it, but we really don't need anything but a few buttons on this front page. The big ones for us are going to be the fraction button, the square root and the root button, the superscript or exponent button, parentheses, and the absolute value. Okay, so let's put an expression together here. Let's start maybe with an exponent, so we'll do x, and we'll give it an exponent of 2, so that's x squared. And then you can either use the arrow keys or your mouse to click out of the exponent when you want it back on the main line. And we'll subtract a fraction. Now if you want to do the denominator before the numerator, you can click straight down into the numerator, or again use the arrow keys to navigate. Let's just put a regular x in the denominator. And thinking ahead a little bit, we know that the other students are going to have to put in a -2, so let's be nice and pick something that's actually easily divisible by 2 here, like a 4. Once you've got your expression put together, you can click Accept, and it'll take it a second, but what it'll eventually do is pop that into your editor here, and now you can say, I found this expression interesting, and here's your expression. Now what might happen sometimes is you look at this and you're like, oh shoot, I forgot to put something in the denominator and it's blank. It'll be wrong if I don't fix it. You can delete it and start from scratch, but that's a lot of work. So if you right click on your expression and edit the equation, when your editor opens back up again, it'll have everything in it already. And this can save you some time when you're working on your assignments. Once you've changed everything, you can just click Accept, and that'll be done. And finally you submit. Okay, so we see that added this new discussion thread into the forum, and if we need to respond to that, we just open that thread and click on Reply. In our case, we wanted to substitute -2 for the x, so we can say, when we substitute -2, we get, and now again we'd want to do some math, so we take this, and I would start with the original expression that the previous student gave, so x squared minus, and we want a fraction, 4 divided by x, that's equal to, and now we'll go ahead and substitute everything in with -2. A good rule of thumb is generally anytime you see an x, we're going to use some parentheses to replace the x and then put the value in. This will help us with a lot of common mistakes about negative signs, basically, and it just helps you avoid those mistakes. The exponent of 2 is still there. Subtract. We've got a fraction. 4 doesn't change. The denominator had an x, so we'll replace the x with parentheses. And then the value that we want to put there is a -2. Not quite done. At this point, we've still got to do a little bit of evaluation, so that'll be 4, because -2 times -2 is 4. And then we're going to subtract. 4 divided by -2 is a -2. So again, just because there's a lot of negative signs, an extra set of parentheses never hurts. And that's equal to, if you want all the steps written down, that would be 4 plus 2, and that's equal to 6. This line equals 4 plus 2. It's not a necessary thing to type in, but it does make it easy for anyone else to read your work and know what's going on. And then you just click Accept, and submit. And now you've got a reply to the original thread saying, here's what it looks like. Now if you go through and look at some of these and you notice maybe somebody did this wrong, you can use a reply or even a quote to look at to comment on their work and say, hey, you might want to think about your negative signs or your fraction or your divisions on the third step. And that's just kind of a nice way to interact with your fellow classmates and build a better community for our class. So if you have any questions, let me know. I hope this video was helpful. Have a great semester.